The last stop before the greatest race in the world brings us through Homestead-Miami Speedway this evening. Located just 26 miles from downtown Miami, this 1.5-mile oval has been home to triumph and tragedy since it opened in 1996. And tonight, the AT&T Champ Car World Series writes a new chapter as it hosts the 7th race of its 2023 season here tonight. As has been the case so far this season, Cat Dove Racing has commanded the world's attention. Defending world champion Kenny Kenosha, however, will play rear gunner, as the team scored a 1-2-3 in qualifying yesterday. For the 5th time this season, it's Sakura Ishibashi leading the field to green, a 5th pole position for that 17 car, but bad luck has played that 17 car all season long. Can Ishibashi and company shake off that bad mojo, that bad luck, here tonight before the 500 in May? Alongside her, another headline maker, Valerie Fang. It came out, declined a contract extension with the best team on the grid. Silly season's begun early. Does this mean drama potentially between teammates? Does that have any effect on how the teammates work here tonight? We appreciate everyone tuning in to ABN Sports coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series. Your home for the IndyCar World Championship all season long. 30 cars present tonight. Again, Cat Dove Racing 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field. But it will be intense as drivers try to find momentum and find ground before we head to the Brickyard. We talked about the top 3. 4th place in row 2 alongside the reigning world champion Nicole Leckie, who spent a lot of time in the top of the standings this season so far. A race win to kick off the season at Phillip Island, looking to return to victory lane. Highest Chevrolet in 4th place. Row 3, a pair of Panasonic Team Impulse machines, the Toyotas of Thomas Rogers and Artyom Kozlov, sit in the 3rd row. Row 4 is where you'll find Alicia Kovalkiewicz and Evangeline Porter, Alpine versus Chevrolet in that row. Then you have Simona LaRoe, the 2nd Highlight Racing machine, alongside Natalia Velicevic. Row 6, bit of a surprising row. Elise Alexander, pole sitter from Texas, alongside the rookie, Bianca Lucero, scoring her best starting position so far in her short career here in the Champ Car World Series. What can Bianca Lucero do from the 12th spot? We'll find out across this 200-lap race. Natalia Kurachenko and BK Glover, they make up row number 7. Row 8 is Asada Kito and Kage Kobayashi. Row 9, Asher Crane and Cameron Jackson, they make up that row. And all Honda, row 9. And the top 20 is lined out with Mateus Michelin and Rex Riley. Shinichi Kamaya and Andrew Draco in row 11. Keisha Fox and Marcus Petrovich in row 12. Row 13 is Esther Hofson and Yuya Ishii. First oval start for Ishii for Yonjiyan Motorsports here this evening. Katrina Ochoa for Escuderia Guia, 2nd race in a row that team's made the grid. They'll be alongside Sakura Kunikita. And rounding out this field of 30, it's Wyatt Jones, the 3-time NAMR Cup Series champion, and Anastasius von Sonnen at the very tail end in 30th place. Homestead-Miami, again, home of triumph and tragedy. For many years, it was either a finale race, obviously for the NAMR Cup Series. That is still where the championship is crowned. And the Champ Car World Series and the IndyCar World Championship was always before the Indianapolis 500. It was in this position last time 3 years ago in 2020. Everyone hoping for better morale, better momentum, and overall a better showcase here tonight at a very unique and progressively banked 1.5-mile oval. It was called Mini Indy when it was opened in 1996. It's been reconfigured since to be the current shape that it is now, but it was a 1.5-mile version of Indianapolis. Very sharp 90-degree corners, provided something a little bit unique in the early stages. We are moments away from hearing the command to fire engines. So join us as we get ready to kick off the last race before the greatest spectacle in racing.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there is the command. Points, top 5, running at the bottom of your screen. Kenosha leads by a full race. It's all about if anyone can close that gap as cars begin to roll, led by the Chevrolet Camaro's yellow one pace car. Again, 200 laps here tonight. As everyone gets ready to go. Just 26 miles away from downtown Miami. Welcome you all to Homestead, Florida. Home to 80,000 people. And home to what will be the fastest series in the world. We're in for a very interesting race, a very different race than what we've seen in the past here at Homestead-Miami. It's Cat Devil Racing 1, 2, 3. The pace car pulling down pit lane. Ishibashi, Fang, Kinoshita, Lefty top 4. Green flag is in the air. And the Hard Rock 300 is underway. Already shuffling going on in the back. Yellow car, new look there for Kaiga Kobayashi, that 42 machine for Vante Racing. Shuffling backwards. New compound, Firestone primary tires. Drivers applauded that it lost a little bit of grip. Wasn't quite as quick at tracks like Texas. Everyone had a little bit of concerns with how this race could have possibly played out. And it was announced to be stepping in and filling in for the incomplete Miami street circuit. Opening lap, still a little bit chaotic as drivers try to find their footing. Lefty's falling backwards. That orange and white TE Connectivity Chevrolet for Red Bull Highlight Racing. First time we've seen non-Red Bull cars on those cars tonight. TE Connectivity and Intergy on the Highlight Racing machines. Lefty in the orange and white. Leroux, who's charged forward in that pink and blue machine. Already into the top 5. Single file for several cars as everyone finds their footing here early on. A little bit packed up early on in this race as tires get up to temperature. Things beginning to thin out at the front. You saw the yellow, white, and red machine. That is Asada Kito running the McDonald's colors. A throwback to his World Championship teammate Zoe Sharp when Sharp won back-to-back world titles in 2010 and 2011. Kito's had a pretty decent start of the season, pretty average start as that team tries to work on its pace. Everything thinning out. Bottom lane predominant, but these cars trimmed out more than before. Horizon Corporation stepping in, learning from the race in 2020. We've not been here in 3 years, but Horizon Corporation came in and said, hey, we're taking away the gurney flap, we're taking away the wicker bills that were on the nose of these cars, on the front wings. They've trimmed the cars out to kick off this race. They didn't want this to become a pack race. It started out that way, but it's thinned out quickly as drivers realize that the outside lane is just not going to be where you find your grip here tonight. And you're finding that very quickly. That silver and black machine of Velisevich falling backwards quickly, now behind her teammate, Evangeline Porter, as that is Kinoshita that's fallen backwards. Went to the lead early in this race, led the opening lap, but is now behind Kinoshita here on the fringe of the top 10. Front of the field is where you'll find Alicia Kovalkiewicz being challenged by Simona Leroux. Arasaka versus Intergy at the front. Chevrolet versus Alpine versus Honda with Thomas Rogers in third. Side by side, wheel to wheel, 2 rows, but no 3 wides. Now we've entered the first few laps of this race. Looking a little bit further down, we are on lap 9 here of 200. And LaRoe leads firmly. Starting lap 10, there's Mateus Michelin, the Petrobras, that green and white, number 60. Alpine showing some oval speed here tonight. And there's the 11 of Elise Alexander. Showed pace at Texas, just couldn't find that race winning pace. That team looking very strong, Honda looking very off. Honda qualified very well, but they have not shown any of that pace so far in the early goings of this race. Kenosha trying to fight her way forward. That Pepsi machine, the number 18 red, white, and blue car. Up to 5th again. Looking to the inside of Alexander. This racing looking pretty good so far, though. A lot better than what we saw. A lot more controlled than what we saw back in 2020, 3 years ago. Alexander holding on to the top 6 position. As Porter gets around Vilicevic. Glover follows suit. There's Ishibashi coming back forward as well, the pole sitter. Lost pace early, got moved to the outside by her teammate early, but carving her way back forward towards the top 10. Unfortunately, there's a lot of drivers wanting into that top 10. There is the Airbus number 3 of Artyom Kozlov making forward, as well as that McDonald's car of Asada Kito I mentioned earlier. Again, trimmed out cars here. Gonna be about managing tires here and setting up passes. You can't just make them willy-nilly like what we saw in the past. You have to set them up. You have to get good runs out of the corners, draft, slipstream, and make sure you make your move first on the car in front. That is going to be a key to victory here. Working on your roll bars, your weight jacker, all your in-car adjustments here, as well as the pit stops. They have to be millimeter perfect here tonight. 1.5 mile oval, speeds touching 212 miles an hour, a slower race overall compared to what we saw in 2020 when the average speed was 221 miles an hour. Things a little bit slower. Tires have a little bit less grip. That was by design. Firestone was well aware of what they need to do to get this race to a safer level. And so far they've done an amazing job. Simona LaRoe leads the way over Thomas Rogers. Looking at this battle between teammates for Team Impulse, this is Glover versus Kozlov. This is for 8th place. Kito in 10th, and then I believe it's Vilicevic now in 11th place. The ticker will update every 2 minutes as we experiment with that. Everyone finding the bottom of the track here. Glover defending from Kito and Vilicevic. There is the pole sitter, Ishibashi, just outside the top 10 at the moment, ahead of Nicole Lecty and Elise Alexander. Meanwhile, Wyatt Jones has made his way forward in the field from 29th to 16th. The 3-time NAMRA Cup Series champion doing a phenomenal job so far, carving his way forward, already up almost half the field. There's Esther Hobson, the BWT, that pink number 28, looking a little bit further back. Then you have Astrid Crane. There's the GameStop number 21 of Marcus Petrovic. There's Anisias von Soden from last place on the grid. Almost, I think, up 10 spots at least from this race so far, as everyone makes their way forward. Sort of perusing through the field here a little bit further back on the fringe of the lower 10 is Rex Riley making a move on the inside of Cameron Jackson. Backed up the entry to 3 and 4. We talked about this, having to back up and set up your runs. That's what Rex Riley just did on Cameron Jackson. Showing some veteran instinct on the ovals for a rookie experience for Rex Riley. Doing a good job here so far in this race. Sort of browsing and perusing some cars I've already lost touch. That is Kunikita, Ochoa, and Ishii that have lost touch with the race leaders. Elise Alexander at the front of the field, challenging CUNY Kenosha, friends and rivals on track. Kenosha takes the lead away, but Porter led that lap. Michelin moves back to 2nd place. There's Kovalkiewicz, that Arasaka, number 96. There's 2 Arasaka cars in the field. Keisha Fox, the other Arasaka car, with the red numbers on the nose, the 62 car. This race is thinned out a little bit here. This was as designed. Leroux falling backwards now a little bit more here in this race. That pink and blue machine led price of the early stanza, not leading anymore. Will slot in behind. That is the 6 of BK Glover. Tell the difference between the two Panasonic cars in this race together. Glover has the red on the nose, where the number would say. As you can see right there, the Mobile One logo right above that red spot there. Rogers has just got the blue and white cone on the nose. There's the big difference there. And then obviously you have Kozlov running the silver and blue for Airbus for that team here tonight. The 3 Toyotas in the field doing a phenomenal job. All of them near the front end of the field, the sharper end of the field here tonight. So far, looking at the early going so far, we're approaching lap 24 here in this race. Already almost an eighth of the way through. Great job so far. Cars still battling, sort of mixing it up here. Passing, definitely not impossible. Just have to think about it a little bit more. It values that experience that you have on these ovals. Puts a lot of that to the test. What have the rookies learned as well going into this race? A little bit different than what we've seen so far. It's different from what we saw last time out at Richmond. Definitely different than what we saw at Texas and Motegi. And even Nashville so far different. Very pleasant change of pace. As you look at the center of your screen is Simona Leroux, starting lap 26. And now you're beginning to see this was what we thought was the inevitability, and that is Kimi Kenosha, the defending world champion, the current points leader, beginning to try to waltz away. Tire life becoming a factor here at Homestead, and Kenosha has plenty of it. That team has been very well engineered to manage tire wear here tonight as this track continues to age. The bumps and the aggressiveness of this track on the Firestone Firehawk tires playing into that team's factor here so far tonight. But again, early going still. We're just an eighth of the way through this race. As Michelin will fall backwards here, got pushed way far to the outside lane. You see where the rubber in groove is in the lower and middle lanes. It gets a lot lighter in color the further up you go. That is a lot less run. That's where a lot of the marbles go. We talk about marbles and dirt. All of that goes up the track as you see two lines very firmly formed here. That third lane, not very viable at all so far. No grip is up there. You go up there, you're losing 3-4 spots on the go in a lap at least. And you're seeing that already. That is Rogers up there now. And you see immediately he'll lose 3 spots, and Kovalkiewicz will try to make it 4 here in just one straightaway. That is how critical it is to not go up there. Porter just went up there as well. Porter trying to hang it there, has the left sides on that rubber, but leaves it on the exit and will lose spots as well. Everyone getting racing here, and it's letting some of these cars at the front of the field waltz away. That is Kenosha. There is Valerie Fang, and then Artyom Kozlov in 3rd place. Michelin, the best of the rest so far, 4th place for him at the moment, trying to break away from this madhouse battle that has begun from 4th down to the fringe of the top 10. But things have spread out here so far. Think about this race 3 years ago. We used to have all 26, 28 cars under a blanket. Close quarters caused madness and mayhem. Everyone's able to stretch their legs out a little bit tonight. Looking center of your screen, that is the 5th third bake machine of Evangeline Porter. Just behind her, the McDonald's machine of Asada Kito. And then her former protege, Nicole Lecty. In front of her is one of the Team Impulse machines. I believe that is Thomas Rogers, that is. And then Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Porter working her way forward, got around Rogers, so did Lechty. Like it's seeing a lot of the TE connectivity, number 78, in that rear view mirror. As the Cat Devil Racing cars try to work 1-2 here. Rivaling Alpine teams battling here. Cherokee GP versus Striker Motorsports. Cherokee GP gets the advantage here. Out of turn 2, Kovalkiewicz gets past Michelin. And Michelin immediately goes right back at it. Kozlov has gotten away pretty clean, but no one really helped them out at all. Kozlov's just kind of sitting in an island at the moment as the Cat Devil Racing cars pull away, but Kozlov continues pulling away from this battle going on right behind. Lap times have fallen by about 0.4 of a second. Looking at the comparison times for Kovalkiewicz here. On lap 36 of 200 here in this race. Laps ticking by quickly. Lap traffic will become an issue at some point for some of the cars further on back in this field. There's the furthest three back. Ishii, Ochoa, and Kunikita. For Ishii, first time on an oval race this season. Failed to qualify for the previous ones at Motegi, Texas, Nashville, and Richmond. Been a rough season on the oval side for Ishii. Finally making one happen here. Ochoa as well, trying to gather some experience and intel for the Indianapolis 500 coming up here in May. That team struggled to make the field the first 5 races, but the last 2 so far, Ochoa's willed her way through into the race. But now needing a little bit of help and a little bit of chaos that just hasn't really come so far in this race. There is the teammates trying to work together. That is Kinoshita and Feng. We talked in the pre-race. Feng declined an extension to stay with Cat Devil Racing, wanting to test out free agency. Shaking up the silly season a little bit early here for the Champ Car World Series. Feng going to make a move for the race lead here. Feng still looking for her first career win in the Champ Car World Series. Can she get that here at Homestead-Miami, or will Kinoshita extend to 5 wins in 7 races? That is going to be a very important question. Artem Kozlov, what can they do? Sitting 3rd place at the moment, needs a little bit of help. Just hasn't been able to find any. Lap traffic still ways away as caution has come out for the first time tonight. And it is trouble. That is Kovalkiewicz. Kovalkiewicz is out. And that's Porter involved as well, as everyone scrambled to avoid the 81. First caution of this race. Kovalkiewicz and Porter got together. Trouble early on. Kovalkiewicz and Porter. And it looks like trouble. That is Draco as well. Not sure how involved he is. It looks like there's a little bit of damage on the number 20 machine. But Porter's race effectively over. What has happened to Alicia Kovalkiewicz and company? Let's go back and look. Porter moves to the inside of Rogers. Oh, ooh, hard hit there by Kovalkiewicz. All side impacts there. Porter tries re-rolling again. Oh, this is where it gets a little bit hairier. Draco was unsighted because all the checking up going on. Draco couldn't do much about that. It looks like both Cherokee GP cars involved in this accident. Draco couldn't find a lot of place to go, and that's the thing. You know, everyone's racing to the green, racing to the line here. And now we're hearing that Valerie Feng may have got a penalty for entering a closed pit lane. And that'll put Valerie Feng's race on the back foot. One of the fastest cars in the field could have to serve a stop-go penalty under green. And ticker at the top of your screen will tell you the full tale here in a second. As it scrolls on through, we could see more shaking up here in the field. Right now, it is Valerie Fang, Artyom Kozlov, Kuni Kinoshita, Mateus Michelin, Thomas Rogers, BK Glover, Simona Leroux, Sakurai Shibashi, Nicole Lecti, Asada Kito, your top 10. Does that change? Here on lap 42 of 200, almost a quarter of the way through this race already. The laps were ticking by frantically quick. Again, first caution of the night coming from contact triggered by Evangeline Porter and Alicia Kovalkiewicz in this race, kind of browsing and perusing. There's Keisha Fox, who had a piece of it. A few retirements in this race. I believe well, just about everybody involved in this accident is out of this race. I do have to believe here. I believe if we can figure out and see. Just sort of perusing and making sure here. But I do believe everyone involved in that incident, minus Keisha Fox, is now out here in Homestead. So that is Evangeline Porter, Alicia Kovalkiewicz, and Andrew Draco all out of this race here on the first caution of the night before the quarter-way mark. As you're ready to go back to green, we'll go back to green hitting lap 44 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It is Valerie Fang leading the field to green, then Artyom Kozlov in between the Cat Never Racing teammates. Kuni Kinoshita, the reigning world champion, the points leader in third, Michelin fourth, fifth, Rogers sixth, Glover seventh, Leroux. Pace car pulls in. Green flag is out and away we go. Green flag is out and Fang lets the engine go. Trouble for Honda. Fang gets to the outside lane. Everyone scrambles. Everyone makes it through. But Valerie Fang's engine lets go on the restart. And Kozlov and Kenosha have penalties for entering a closed pit lane. They will have a stop and go. They pass the pace car when entering pit lane. So they will have to serve a penalty. And the top three, just like that, has been cut off of this field. It is now an open race. And now it's down to Rogers and Glover at the front of the field, leading the way for Panasonic Team Impulse and Toyota. Michelin in third, Ishibashi's up to fourth. Now the only hope right now for Cat Never Racing has to challenge with Lecti and Leroux. Ishibashi was the fastest car in qualifying, has been the qualifying ace all season long, but has not had the strongest car in the race. Ishibashi is vulnerable. But right now is the only hope Cat Never Racing has right now. Wild stuff as we approach the quarter-way mark. Rogers leads the way over Michelin and Lecti. Glover slipping down to fourth. Keep an eye on that 13. That's silver and black. That's Velisevich. 2 podiums this season, including last time out at Richmond. Velisevich looking very strong in that Coke Zero Energy, or Zero Sugar, I should say. Number 13 machine. As everyone tries to get around Glover, that is Leroux getting around Glover now. Remember, Leroux in a different car. Same with Lecti. They're no longer in. They're not in the Red Bull cars this weekend. Lecti in the orange and white. Leroux in the pink and blue. Both of them on your screens. That team works their way forward. Rogers leads the way, but it is pandemonium a little bit further back. Alexander making her way back into the top 10 conversation, firmly into the top 5 conversation at the moment. Sitting in 6th place at the moment, trying to make a move. Looking at Lucero, not Lucero, that is Leroux and Velisevich. Lucero's fallen back quite a ways here from this conversation. Velisevich will drop spots as Alexander makes sure that door stayed open, getting around Leroux. Glover back to the inside lane. It's going to be almost 3 wide. It will be 3 wide as Leroux gets shuffled out big time and in a hurry. Leroux will end up behind Hofson, trying to defend from Von Soden, who's got a lot of race pace all of a sudden. There's the Sadakito, there's Nichikamaya. Then you see Kurichenko, Jackson, Crane, Riley, Petrovich. From the back you're looking at, there is Bianca Lucero. As everyone makes their way forward. Ishii holding on to the draft a little bit better this time. And you see where Kenosha is in this conversation. Disappointing luck right now. Front of the field is still Thomas Rogers and beginning to pull away. Showing his strength here at Homestead, trying to win again. Alexander being passed by Glover here. Glover up to 2nd place once again, trying to get clear and hopefully join his teammate here, but I have a feeling Alexander and Ishibashi will not let that happen. The field looks like an Alpine engine may have gone as we browse and peruse the field. Kage Kobayashi, I believe, is out of this race, making that the 4th retirement here in Homestead-Miami. 3 for an incident on lap 40, and Kobayashi being the 4th, one of being classified being 27th here tonight. Ishibashi's made her way to 2nd place as everyone tries to close in on Thomas Rogers. Rogers has won this race before, won this race back in 2017. Can he do it again? That is the big question here. Ishibashi looking as the sophomore driver Alexander and the rookie driver Velisevich battle for 3rd ahead of BK Glover. See the tire marks from the accident earlier in this race. Lights coming on as the sun goes down and the moon comes up. Ishibashi trying to break away now. As you see some of the drivers that are out of this race. Making sure here as we browse and peruse. Making sure, I believe Kobayashi is effectively out of this race. In fact, he is out of this race. It is over for Kobayashi. Back to Ishibashi here in 2nd place, beginning to break clear a little bit of BK Glover and company. There's Velisevich in 4th. 5th is Lechty. 6th is Alexander. 7th is Hofson. Then you have Michelin, who's been lurking in the top 10 all race long so far. Leroux and Quito. Quito sitting just outside of this top 10, I believe, looking right ahead at Leroux. Still having a phenomenal race so far. That McDonald's scheme filling in a little bit of luck here. Quito is in 9th place, excuse me, I believe. No, excuse me, Quito is in 10th place. Battle for 8th place is between Leroux and Michelin. Leroux just won that battle. As 3 wide, Vulicevic found her way close to the outside wall. And will drop spots here. Alexander forced the issue. Made it like a bandit in that. Vulicevic on the outside lane. Looking forward here. Hobson trying to make some inroads at home. Miami native. Currently sitting pretty well in the top 10 at the moment. Again, several cars out of this race. Valerie Fang is out. Excuse me, there's 5 retirements in this race. Valerie Fang, an engine retirement there on that restart here in lap 44 out of this race as well. So 5 cars out of this race. We're down to 25 runners. 23 on the lead lap. Kenosha and Kozloff a lap down, having to serve a stop-go penalty for entering a closed pit lane under caution. Battle for 3rd place. Alexander and Glover going at it with Lechty in pursuit. All of them trying to chase down Sakura Ishibashi, and furthermore trying to chase down Thomas Rogers, who has a pretty commanding lead. 1.8 seconds last time around was the lead held by Thomas Rogers. As laps tick away, we're on lap 67, coming to lap 68 here in this race. We are a third of the way through here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Non-stop coverage here of the AT&T Champ Car World Series here on ABN Sports. For everyone tuning in here tonight, we appreciate you tuning in and spending your time with us here. A lovely evening for racing. The last race before the greatest race in the world, the Indianapolis 500. Coming up here in a few weeks' time. 45 cars will attempt to qualify for the greatest race. Be able to catch all of it here on ABN Sports. Rogers leads the way, would like to gather that momentum, that very precious momentum. That car, the number 2 machine, has won the last 2 Indianapolis 500s. A little bit of pressure for Rogers, assuming and inheriting that car. After Hazel Lacasse moved to Formula 1. Side by side almost, Alexander pressuring the 5-time pole sitter this season in Sakura Ishibashi. Ishibashi hoping things hold. Will look like a piece of good luck here. Been a very dismal season for that 17 camp. But so far, Ishibashi holding firm in 2nd place. Just hasn't been able to make those inroads in yet here tonight. There is the 6 of Glover sitting in 4th position. 5th is Nicole Lechty. 6th is Natalia Vulicevic. And you're seeing they're beginning to break away from this battle with Quito, Leroux, Hobson, and I believe that is Michelin that has dropped back a little bit here. That pit stop did not serve Michelin well. An adjustment that has gone wrong for that 60 camp. Probably making that car a little bit too tight here early on. Talk again about the cars being trimmed out. A lot of changes were made to these cars to try to make them safer. They took away the wicker bill that goes on the front and rear wings of these cars. Obviously removing the downforce here. These little 1/4-inch little carbon fiber pieces that were bolt-ons to the extension of the front and rear wings. For tracks like Homestead, they removed those. You don't get that extra downforce, that 400 pounds of downforce across the car. that drivers do not have access to here, that they had access to at Nashville a few weeks ago. So they got that little change going for them here, and that changes how this race is developed. But Firestone's also worked on developing a tire more suitable for this style of racing. It seems like these tires that Firestone was producing just overall produced way too much grip. They've worked on that. They've tried refining that, giving these tires a little more longevity, but taking away some of that grip, trying to find a way to find that balance for these cars in the wide variety of ovals that they go to, because the primary tire is the main tire we see on these big ovals. And so far, they've done a great job of that. Battling through this race here tonight. Michelin trying to battle back into the top 10 here, approaching lap 77 here tonight. We're just inside the top 10 here as we browse our way back forward. Glover's gotten clear of Ishibashi. It is Team Impulse 1-2. That team has not yet won this season. Trying to break through here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Lap traffic will soon become a factor, though, for the race leader. There is Thomas Rogers. What you saw there beforehand was Katrina Ochoa and Yuya Ishii, which will be next to go a lap down here. Yeah, wide open coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series season continues here on ABN Sports. Thomas Rogers, center of your screen, leads the way over his teammate BK Glover. Sakura Ishibashi sitting in third position. The pole sitter having a little bit better luck, but it's her team that has had a bad luck here. Valerie Fang out of this race with an engine failure. Kuni Kinoshita a lap down, having serving a penalty for entering a pit lane before letting the pace car go through under caution, basically entering a closed pit lane. Glover leads the way in this back here, as you see Glover, Ishibashi, then you have Alexander, Velisevich, and Lechty all in pursuit. Glover for the back, you'll see this is where you'll find Leroux and Crane. Asher Crane in the top 10 right now, pretty firmly so. Michelin in the 11th position at the moment. Then you have Von Sonnen, Kurachenko. I believe there's Kinoshita trying to work her way back forward and make back a lap here the hard way. Has to do it the hard way. Cautions have been so hard to come by so far this race. We've only had one in this first half of play so far. So Kinoshita trying to work her way forward, and it's going to be a lot harder to do the further up the field she gets here. Right now she's stuck just outside the top 10 with some of these cars. There's Hobson and Quito, the McDonald's machine, and the BWT car. As this field has spread out here so far tonight. Rogers has caught up to lap traffic. This is Ochoa he's working on now, the 36 DoorDash machine. And now working on Ishii to put Ishii a lap down. These two off pace so far early in the going here. Right now, things looking pretty well. 5 cars out of this race. Kovalevich, Draco, Porter, Fang, and Kobayashi all out before the halfway point here tonight. on lap 85 of 200 here tonight. As wide open coverage continues here. Lap traffic now firmly between Rogers and everybody else at the moment. Glover leads the way in second place. Velisevich third. Ishibashi fourth, under threat from Alexander for that position. And Letty holding on to the top 5 as well. This is a good chance right now as things stand for a lot of drivers to gain a lot of points on the World Championship before the Brickyard next month. Magic question though. Does it stand? Does it stick? A lot of race left. And we know how magical Kenosha can be. We saw that at Richmond. Kenosha got moved to the back of the field and still worked her way forward to win that race. Kenosha's been near undeniable this season. 4 wins in 6 races. Trying to make a 5 of 7. This is the tallest task Kenosha's had yet. As Letty looks to the inside, Alexander. Speaking of a little bit of sentimental attachment here at Homestead-Miami, Lisa Alexander, second-generation driver. Her father, the late champion Michael Alexander. One of his last race wins came at this very track back in 2006. She gets to race here for the first time. And a far more pleasant experience this time than it was for some drivers 3 years ago when they were here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Obviously, in that race, a lot of accidents there. The injury that effectively ended Jace Clark's open wheel career. Jace Clark, now in stock car racing, has made a recovery to get back into racing. Three years on, lots changed, as we can see that. As Rogers has a commanding lead, over 2 seconds the gap. There's Velisevich trying to challenge for that third spot, or for the second spot, excuse me. As they both have opened up a little bit of a gap to Ishibashi. Ishibashi 3 seconds adrift of the race lead, almost 7/10 adrift of this battle for second place. Again, running order scrolling at the top of your screen here tonight. It's been a phenomenal race so far. As we approach the halfway point, we're on lap 93 of 200. Almost halfway. Next car to go a lap down will be Keisha Fox. Rogers has a couple laps until we get to that point, though. Another side-by-side battle. Velisevich would like another podium, would like to have a little bit more. Velisevich's podiums, both of them have been second places this season. And both times she lost to different people. She lost to Lecty at the start of the season. She lost to Kenosha last time out at Richmond. Having to earn it once again here, as Ishibashi's making her way back forward again. Again, the small little pocket of 5 cars. So far doing a really good job battling here for these podium spots. Ishibashi in that red and yellow, that Kodak machine. Yeah, Glover in the red, white, and blue Panasonic machine, that is center of your screen. Lecty in the orange and white T connectivity highlight racing car. Velisevich in the silver and black Coca-Cola Zero Sugar machine. And the white and blue, the sky blue car, the Geico machine, is Elise Alexander in this top 5, battling here. As we go a bit further on down the order, lap cars now behind, and there is Kenosha trying to gather some positions and gather some more inroads here as the fastest car on track here in this race. A little bit further back, there is Mateus Michelin, Simona LaRoe, and then Asher Crane. Then you have Natalia Kurachenko just outside the top 10. There is Von Sonnen, Quito, and Hofson over for the back. Cameron Jackson on his own, broken away from Petrovic and Kamaya. There is Bianca Lucero, there's Wyatt Jones, and then Rex Riley. Rivals have emerged here between Jones and Riley, between Ludwig Motorsports and Fortune Racing, and they are almost conjoined at the hip, even right now, as they are racing outside the top 10, outside the top 15. Three rookies in this line. Lucero leads the pair of them. Lucero with the best starting position this season. Started this race in 12th place. Has not held it in the race, but that was going to be very hard with how this race has been shaping up here. It's been a very quick process so far as Riley makes a move on Jones through 3 and 4. Trying to send it through. We'll send it through. We'll try to go for 2 as Lucero now under threat from Riley. Riley picks up a spot and kept Jones from getting to the inside lane and trying to pick that spot back off. Just a little bit further back, there is, I believe that is Kurachenko a little bit further behind. No, excuse me, that is Kunikita, the pink and white Nikola machine. A little further behind, and then you have Kozlov, who has not been able to make any inroads despite what Kenosha's been able to do so far. Kozlov's been stuck. This is the battle for effectively the 17th position on track right now. As Lucero's lost a spot to Wyatt Jones, there is Nikita. There's Artyom Kozlov stuck a lap down at the moment. There is Kozlov's teammate and Thomas Rogers, who has put Keisha Fox a lap down. BK Glover in second place. Third place, Alexander. Fourth place is Ishibashi, with Felicevich and Lefty rounding out the top 6. We have passed the halfway point, lap 102 in this race. We're going to step aside for a quick hydration break. Non-stop coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series and the Hard Rock 300 continues here on APN Sports. We are back. Lap 110 underway for the race leaders, but you saw under our non-stop coverage a flat tire for Nicole Lechty has set the 78 crew backwards. Significantly backwards. Almost caused an incident there with Kenny Kenosha, who's at Kenosha backwards. All of her progress was lost there as she had to check up to avoid hitting Lechty as Lechty came down pit lane. So that shook things up there a little bit under our non-stop coverage. 90 laps to go here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Thomas Rogers leads the way. BK Glover second, Elise Alexander in third. There's Thomas Rogers, center of your screen, leading this race, coming up on lap traffic. That is the battle for 17th that we were covering earlier in this race with Q Nikita. There's Rex Riley, Wyatt Jones. There is Bianca Lucero as well in that mix. So Rogers going to have his hands full trying to navigate that traffic. Meanwhile, Glover's gotten free of Alexander at the moment, and then Alexander's also gotten free of Sakura Ishibashi, who herself so far has gotten away from Velicevic and the now lapped down Lechty. I think it's pretty decent fuel mileage here. Trying to make it to lap 120. If they make it to lap 120, then they're good to go on just one more stop. They got to make it to lap 120. That is the magic number so far. And we get this battle for second place heating up once again between Glover, Alexander, and Ishibashi. The race leader has already dispatched Sakura Nikita, working now and putting Rex Riley a lap down. Riley going to try to fight it a little bit, but not much that Riley can do for Fortune Racing there against the Toyota Panasonic Team Impulse car of Thomas Rogers. The race leader will put the 72 car a lap down for the first time in this race, with the three-time NAMRA Cup Series champion Wyatt Jones now in his sights. Forward here. Jones will go a lap down officially here. We have Lucero up next, and then you see there's already Kozlov about to go another lap down. And then you have to go all the way back to the exit of turn 2 to find BK Glover, with Alexander and Ishibashi once again battling for third. Wild stuff here. Everything goes on. Battling for second place. Here we go. Once again, for second place, getting a little more intense here as Glover drops to fourth. Alexander and Ishibashi side by side as they begin to catch up to some of the lap traffic that Rogers has already dispatched well and truly Rogers has just opened the gap up big time here. You have to go all the way back here to Ishibashi. This is a giant gap so far in this race that Ishibashi, I don't think these squirreling trio are going to be able to do much about as they keep fighting. Glover looks to the inside. Gaps open up to over 4 seconds. That is the gap right now between the leader Thomas Rogers and everyone else. Velisevich in the top 5 as well. Velisevich right on the tail end of this battle. There's Lecty, who's not on the lead lap. Michelin now in 6th place, but so far back here battling with Leroux. Leroux's taken 6th place here. You have Asher Crane, Natalia Kurachenko, and Anastasius von Sonnen with the Sadakita, I believe, outside the top 10 in 11th place right now. And more of the leaders taking on the lap down cars here. It's just more of a gap for Thomas Rogers. Rogers catching up right there to Artem Kozlov, who themselves behind Petrovic and Camyron. It's been a very rapid race so far here tonight. Next question I think is incoming is if we see green flag pit stops here. Strategy about to take hold here. We have crossed the 127 lap mark, coming to 128 here for Thomas Rogers. 73 laps to go. And in he comes, on cue. What should be the last set of green flag pit stops, last set of planned pit stops begins for the race leader. In comes Thomas Rogers. And he was the only one to come in that time. As Glover inherits the lead. Does Glover come in? No, Ishibashi does though. Glover, Alexander, and Velisevich stay out. And in comes Glover this time. Alexander leads the lap and gains a bonus point for it. Pit stop still ongoing at the moment. As Alexander comes in, Velisevich will become the next one to lead a lap. In comes Velisevich, I believe. No, Velisevich stays out another lap. Currently getting draft that is from Lucero. And then Wyatt Jones up ahead as well. As there's Glover. And in comes Vucevic this time. Pit lane's a busy place as cars come in and out. There's Thomas Rogers. We'll see how everything shakes out here on the pit exit. Would not be surprised if Rogers re-inherits the race lead here. See where everyone shakes out here, but I believe Rogers will re-inherit the race lead here. Is that he's been mired in traffic once again, because there's Ochoa, there's Ishii, there's Kozlov once again in the mix. And so to slow him up a significant amount here. And some more drivers have come into the fold. There's Vucevic, who I think is going to be in pretty close proximity here to Rogers. Rogers makes his way around Kozlov there, his teammate. Was Ishii and Ochoa. A lot of cars in very interesting positions right now. Ishii going 3 laps down. Same with Kozlov, and I believe the 36 of Ochoa will go 2 laps down. Again, 5 cars out of this race. 3 for an accident in lap 40. For Kobayashi and for Fang, it is a mechanical failure for both that have taken him out of the running. Thomas Rogers leads the way in the Hard Rock 300 here at Miami. Looking at center screen is Elise Alexander. Rogers leads over Vucevic, and then there's an island in between Vucevic and Alexander. Alexander trying to hold on to the final podium space at the moment, as the other nearby competitors, Ishibashi and company, struggle to get around Lucero. Nicole Lechty in this mix as well. Does Lechty have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race? Had to pit early for a flat tire. Will that cost Lechty a chance to really gain some inroads here on Kenoshita? Lechty's going to race for it. And now watching as this battle continues to unfold. Lefty showing some pace. Trying to catch up to Alexander here. Analytics say that the extremes on the spectrum for the pit stops worked out better. Pit lane, the busier it gets, the slower you are coming in and coming out of your pit box. Ideally, you want to try to pit in with as little traffic around your pit box as possible. Makes it a lot easier to come, especially exiting your pit box. That's where a lot of the time's lost there. So if a lot of these competitors had nearby pit boxes, it's a sharper pit exit because you have to swing the car out to leave pit lane. You can't just drive through. And all of that is very valuable time that you lose on pit lane. And now we're looking at the battle for what could be the last podium spot if Lefty can make it to the end of this race. Alexander trying to hold off Lefty, while also navigating this lap traffic at Ishii and Ochoa. And Lefty washed out there big time behind Ishii. Will lose a lot of time. And will fall back into the clutches of Glover and Ishibashi as they battle for fifth. 13 cars on the lead lap. Thomas Rogers has gotten around everyone up to the 13th place car of Asada Quito. And Quito's kind of on his own little island here, coming to lap 150 for Thomas Rogers. 51 laps to go here at Homestead. Artem Kozlov trying to get a lap back here. And there's Vulicevic. Vulicevic has closed the gap in significantly. Vulicevic has gained a ton on Thomas Rogers. What does Vulicevic have in store for the veteran driver? It's the veteran versus the rookie at the front of the field. With 50 laps to go, coming to 49 laps to go. Rogers realized it was time to move, but Natalia Vulicevic is right there. Vulicevic has gotten around. Pressure is on now for Rogers. Vulicevic has opened up the floodgates. 2 podiums for that team, that 13 car. As Vulicevic tries to make her way through. Rogers now with a handful of Kozlov. Kozlov trying to get a lap back here. And now trying to chase down Vulicevic. Lap cars so far in between, giving a giant buffer between Rogers and the likelihood of being caught up by Nicole Lefty and Elise Alexander. Meanwhile, firmly top 5 at the moment sits BK Glover, with Ishibashi losing time trying to get around Bianca Lucero, while Kenosha has hands full with Yuya Ishii. If things stand, this will flip the championship upside down a little bit. It's when allowed the likes of Crane, Glover, Rogers, as contact between Lefty and Kamaya almost sent Lefty's race upside down. Instead, Lefty stays on to 3rd place as Alexander follows suit. The laps beginning to tick away as Vlisvich has a lap car, a buffer between herself and Thomas Rogers. Rogers debuted in the 2012 season. 13 years in the sport. Multiple race wins to his credit. The 2013 Indianapolis 500. His sophomore season. His biggest accolade so far. Vlisvich trying to land her spot as a top-tier driver in the World Championship. And the laps, they are a-coming. 156 of 200. Coming to 44 laps to go. Rogers again trying to get around Kozlov. Vlisvich making sure to give Kozlov all the draft in the world. Rogers will send it into turn 1 and 2. And Kozlov will have to relent. Not a whole lot of teamwork going on right now between the 2 and the 3. Kozlov 3 laps down. Not really going to get any of those laps back, and not going to make any significant inroads there without a caution. And if you're Kozlov, you're not hoping for a caution anyway, because that would really put a dent in your team's plans, because it would throw everyone back together, including Cat Devil Racing and what's left of it. Kozlov once again challenging Rogers for track position here. Rogers on the far outside lane. Kozlov to the inside lane will slow Rogers up, and it allows Vlisvich to gain even more time in the lead of this race. Atomic Autosports already got a race win this season. They won at Texas with Maria Damata. Atomic Autosport proving itself to be a leading force in the World Championship as a team. Not been really able to overbear Kinoshita and how much power and how much authority she wields. But as a team, Atomic Autosport showing a lot of consistency so far. Atomic Autosport's got to be really proud of what they've found in Vlisvich. All that shining through so far early on in the 2023 campaign. Again, this is race 7 of 20. We're just crossing the 1/3 mark of the season. And Vlisvich has opened up more of a gap here. Next car to go a lap down is Asada Quito, but still a little bit away from that process. Third place, Nicole Lechty, who is also pulled away from Elise Alexander as lap traffic has taken root in determining how this race plays out for some. There's Glover in this mix as well. There's Marcus Petrovic a lap down, and then Sakura Ishibashi, the 17 machine, mired in traffic right now as well. Ishibashi finding a way around Petrovic there. Trying to chase down BK Glover. Former teammates. And they're both part of the Team Impulse stable. Ishibashi replaced by Kozlov. Glover standing firm as one of the elder drivers in the series. And Glover right now sitting firmly with the top 5 result right now as things currently stand. Questions I think would really kind of lie on the shoulders of Nicole Lechty. Can Lechty hold on to finish on the podium here and gain some significant inroads, some significant points on the World Championship leader Kinoshita, who is a lap down and out of contention here? What's the magic number that Lechty needs to hit? Lechty sits in third place at the moment. Rogers in second. Race leader, that's silver and black, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Machine of Natalia Vulisevich, has caught up to Keisha Fox and Asada Quito. And this roadblock will allow Thomas Rogers to make his way closer to the 13. But Vulisevich will find a way through here, through turns 1 and 2. Vulisevich will get clear as the GP1 champion from 2021. And Rogers will try to do the same here in 3 and 4. Lap times continue to tick away. We're on lap 170, 31 laps to go here at Homestead-Miami. This is the battle for the lead at the front of your screen between Natalia Vulisevich in the 13 and Thomas Rogers in the 2. Homestead-Miami, they're usually the finale for the NAMR Cup Series. Usually places host to see how careers end and how championship ambitions end. Might be seeing the arrival of a new star in the Champ Car World Series with how Vulisevich has performed so far this season and really breaking out here tonight. Vulisevich leads the way. And it's Thomas Rogers and in lap traffic in tow. 29 laps to go. Again, Lecty's safe right now, sitting 3rd place. The question is if Lecty has to pit or not. If Lecty has to pit, it could be game over. Alexander sitting right now in the 4th position, and it's BK Glover in 5th, not far behind. Sakura Ishibashi in 6th. Then it's Mateus Michelin all the way back behind lap traffic here. There's Michelin in the 7th position. Teammates there. Ty Kurchenko in 8th. And Mercedes Bonsonen in a good result so far. In 9th. Simona Leroux in 10th. You see Esther Hobson and Asher Crane. Top 12 on the lead lap, with the race leader not far behind. Very quick laps here around the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It is these two cars battling for the race win. Vulisevich versus Rogers. And Rogers has to play it smarter. Vulisevich caught up and passed Rogers with relative ease. Continue to tick away here. Vulisevich holding on to a race lead that has been so close in the latter stages of this race. Approaching the last 22 laps to go at the line. Wheels 3 wide in front. That is Esther Hobson and battling with Astrid Crane and Natalia Kurchenko. And there's the race leader coming into the fold. Again, Atomic Autosport, already a race winner this season, won at Texas. Trying to do it again. Well, that's a car on the exit here. That is Riley, Rex Riley. Can Riley make it back to pit lane? Trouble for the 72 car. As that Chevrolet limps back around. And Riley will make it back to pit lane safely. We will stay green. And that would have flipped the race on its head in a heartbeat. As the race leaders try to take on lap traffic to put 12th and 11th a lap down. Traffic once again in their own little battle as well. Elizabeth's trying to make her way through. Rogers trying to follow suit. Rogers losing time in the dirty air created by multiple cars. Looks like Rex Riley back rolling here on track, or getting ready to come back on track here. But Felicevich has a commanding lead right now over Thomas Rogers. Next car in line to go a lap down is Simona LaRoe, but I believe LaRoe's going to be pretty well safe from going a lap down here. 16 laps to go. Felicevich is really broken away here as Rogers is struggling to get around some of this traffic. Reminder that Hobson and Crane are battling for their own position as well. Like, this is a battle that they've got going on that Rogers is just a part of, trying to struggle to get through. And it is not doing him any favors in this battle for the race lead that he is well and truly well behind now on. "13 laps to go." Separating Natalia Felicevich from a first career win if things keep up as they have. That's 12 laps to go. 6 minutes about there left in play for Felicevich in Atomic Autosport. They've arrived on the string. So far, so good. If it's not been a Cat Devil Racing Honda, it's been a Chevrolet winning. Nicole Lecty won the season opener. Maria D'Amata won Texas. And now Natalia Felicevich looking set to make it a third Chevrolet win this season. Rogers stuck in that traffic for just a little bit too long. There's Kenosha as well. Kenosha trying to gain some of that time back as well. Kinoshita making her way through. Vulicevic being pressured by Artyom Kozlov here. Handful of laps to go, coming to 6 laps to go for Natalia Vulicevic. Browsing and perusing to the field, Simona Leroux will go a lap down here. With how close Vulicevic is not taking her foot off the gas at all. So we're browsing and perusing throughout the field. There is Katrina Ochoa, who might go another lap down. There is Yuya Ishii. Rex Riley back out on track. Right now, right back behind Wyatt Jones, but now laps apart. With Rex coming back on track from that reliability, from the mechanical issue. But Rex on fresher tires here as a result. At this point, I think just having fun passing some cars. There is Anastasia von Sonnen sitting in the top 10 in 9th place. As Vulicevic gets us up to Leroux. Meanwhile, I think Nicole Lecty's come down pit lane. Because I don't believe Lecty is now anywhere close to the podium places. So the answer is to if she can make that fuel mileage was no. Unfortunately. Vulicevic using lap traffic to perfection. Here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, 2 laps to go. Third generation driver. Trying to find a way to victory lane in the fastest series in the world. We'll put Ochoa a lap down. Coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go for the Hard Rock 300. It's all eyes on the rookie driver once again. Atomic Autosport putting another rookie on the top step of the podium. Maria D'Amato won at Texas. Vulicevic less than a mile away from etching her name in history books. Out of 3 and 4 for the final time. Natalia Vulicevic is a champ car race winner. She wins at Homestead-Miami. Thomas Rogers comes home 2nd place, getting a significant amount of points in the championship. A phenomenal race. Let's see, Sakura Shibashi finished in 3rd. Elise Alexander, a top 5 finish. A career best result for Alexander. Glover in 6th. Excuse me, I think Glover is actually a top 5 for Glover, excuse me. Final order run at the top of your screen here momentarily. A phenomenal race. Natalia Vulicevic once again putting the rookies in a pretty good light here. Race winner for the 2nd time this season, a rookie at victory lane. Once again, it's an Atomic Autosport Chevrolet at the top of the field. Talk about momentum swift, momentum change, momentum shift is what I was meaning to say there. Going into the Brickyard, going into the month of May, it does not get much bigger than that. Kinoshita finishing off the lead lap after serving a penalty early in this race. will significantly shake up the point standings. The tie will switch the race winner here tonight. The Hard Rock 300 belongs to the Slovenian driver, the Slovenian rookie. Thomas Rogers second, Sakura Shibashi, the pole sitter tonight's race, finishing in third. Some good luck there for the 17 camp tonight. Alexander top 4. Best result for Alexander in her career so far in Champ Car. BK Glover, most unlucky gap ever to the race lead, but 5th place for that 6 car. Matthias Michelin top 6. Kurachenko in 7th. Then Anastasius von Sonen, a best finish in a very long time, all about 2020 for von Sonen. 8th place tonight for him. Simona Leroux a lap down in 9th place. Then Kuni Kinoshita somehow, some way, recovering to finish top 10. 10th place for Kinoshita. Phenomenal effort, phenomenal drive by that Pepsi crew. Asher Crane outside the top 10, 11th place for Crane. 12th for Hobson at home. Not a bad result, but still missing a little bit there for the 28 camp. Asada Quito in 13th place. Cameron Jackson, 14th. A good recovery from Richmond last time out. Marcus Petrovic, 15th place, ending out the first half of the field here tonight. Bianca Lucero started this race in 12th. Got a good result, 16th place, tying her career best so far in the series. Nicole Lecty went a lap down, could not make it on fuel, finishing this race in 17th. Shinichi Kamaya, 18th, ahead of Wyatt Jones, who had another quiet race, but charged from 29th on the field, gained 9 spots in tonight's race. Artem Kozlov, a very dismal race. That team's not going to be happy with how everything went tonight. 20th place for Kozlov. Sakuni Kita in 21st. Ahead of Keisha Fox, who was involved in the lap 40 crash that took out her teammate Kovalkiewicz. Ishii, 23rd, 2 laps down for Ishii's first oval experience. Not a bad result there. Ochoa, likewise. First major oval race of the season. 24th, 3 laps down for the 36 crew. Riley, 5 laps down. Was 1 lap down anyways. Went 4 laps down having a mechanical fault, but managed to finish this race and take the checkered flag. 5 retirements, Kobayashi, Feng. Both of them retirements on mechanical faults. Porter, Draco, and Kovalkiewicz out in that lap 40 crash will be the first retirements of this race, and they will be at the bottom of the order. That'll do it here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. The last step before the 110th Indianapolis 500-mile race. The month of May cannot be any sweeter. History is in the wings. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, ABN Sports, and our coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series, we appreciate you spending your time with us here tonight. We'll see you at the Brickyard in May. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun. We'll see you in Indianapolis. So long, everybody.